First, let's talk about Keir Starmer's response to the riots. Has he got it wrong? 0207 862 2222. Do get in touch. I'll speak to you in just a moment. Hundreds of people have been arrested after a weekend of violence across the country, which continued last night in Belfast, in Darlington, in Plymouth as well. This is Plymouth we're watching here. The violence has been attributed to the far right after false rumours spread about the nationality of the boy who killed 3 young girls in Southport. The Prime Minister called an emergency Cobra meeting yesterday, and this is what he had to say.
We will have a standing army of specialist officers, public duty officers, so that we'll have enough officers to deal with this where we need them. The second is we'll ramp up criminal justice. There have already been hundreds of arrests. Some have appeared in court this morning. I've asked for early consideration of the earliest naming and identification of those involved in the process, who will feel the full force of the law. And thirdly, I've been absolutely clear that the criminal law applies online as well as offline, and I'm assured that that's the approach that is being taken.
It isn't clear what the full force of the law means. Some have criticised him for not involving the army, not recalling Parliament. So we'd love your thoughts on this. There's been this also kind of tit for tat with Elon Musk on Twitter, which is weird because obviously Elon Musk is this famous entrepreneur who owns Twitter. So I don't know what to make of this. So first of all, so here's Musk and here's Starmer. And essentially they've just been knocking sparks off each other here, which is not the kind of distraction that Starmer needs. Musk says civil war in the UK is inevitable. And let's just freeze it here. Let's look at the Starmer tweet that was out yesterday. This is not protest, it's violence. We're going to have public duty officers, standing army. We'll apply criminal law online. We will not tolerate attacks on mosques or on Muslim communities. Musk says, shouldn't you be concerned about attacks on all communities? Now, OK, what do you make of that, Carl, this Musk intervention?
Well, I used to quite like Elon Musk before he bought Twitter, and then renamed it X. And I think he's gone a little bit power mad, to be honest. And he's got this tendency, hasn't he, to try and push people's buttons. And I think mainly it's for self-promotion. So I question whether he actually believes half the stuff that he says. But I think saying that civil war is inevitable is a disgusting thing to say. I don't think he should have said that.
It was in the context of the UK as well, Angela.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really his backyard, so he can make it. I mean, he's entitled. Look, he runs a platform in which people express opinions. He's entitled to express the view. This is not civilised behaviour. Riots are not acceptable. It doesn't matter where they are in the world. The attacker is always... The attacker is always to blame, regardless of the nature of the attack. So you're right, he is poking the bear. I think the comment that he made about all communities is relevant because the fact is that over the last 10 months we've seen hate marches, we've seen spiralling anti-Semitism, we've seen awful things going on to different ethnic groups in this country in the name of so-called protest, and different communities feeling intimidated because of that. And Starmer should say, this is not what we are or who we are, whether it's far left, far right, whether it's about what's gone on in Southport.
But isn't he doing that, though? Isn't Starmer doing that?
No, because in that tweet he said he just specifically referred to Muslim communities. What about all the communities whose businesses are being wrecked because of these riots? You know, you're just an ordinary person in Liverpool or Bolton who's had a brick through.
So you're actually, in a funny way, you do agree with Musk saying, hang on a minute, it's not just Muslim communities who are the receiving end.
I call them mob trippers. There are opportunists who somehow are joining this heinous bandwagon and want to go where the action is. There are fundamental societal issues definitely at hand. But as you know, I think people have said many times, they don't even know what they're protesting about. You speak to people on the Gaza protest, you say, where's Gaza? They don't even know where it is.
Well,
it's the same here.
Look,
people don't understand what they get.
Aren't they angry about immigration, fundamentally? Is that not it? I don't think so?
No, I mean, what I witnessed in Liverpool was a small group of people that were genuinely protesting. I'd separate them out again and say some of them were concerned about immigration and just wanted to cause trouble. Some of them had genuine concerns, but I would say the vast majority of them were actually young kids that just wanted to cause trouble.
They've obviously started working the courts on overtime now. I think they got 400 arrests or something. One of the first people in court was a guy called Ryan Shears, who was remanded in custody, started crying in the dock and calling for his mum. So that says something about the power of being in front of magistrates and why there is a power for sort of putting these people before the court process. I mean, Starmer's got skin in the game here because in the 2011 riots, he was DPP, he was Director of Public Prosecutions, and he wanted justice to be speeded up then. But in answer to your question, is he getting it wrong? Unequivocally. Yeah, OK. Interesting. So that's what we're talking about. Is he getting it wrong here? This is Middlesbrough here. I mean, some of these protests start in a kind of orderly way, and then they just, as soon as the protesters see the police or somebody they don't like, they just go mad. Lucy's in Stockport. How's it been in Stockport, Lucy?
We haven't had any protests here.
Good.
But obviously we're very close to Manchester, so they have been happening up there.
What do you make of what Starmer's been doing?
It's a wet wipe, basically.
Really? Yeah?
Yeah, it's absolutely disgraceful. You can't just... Sorry, I can't get my words out.
Go on.
You can't just target one side. It's happening everywhere. If anybody's seen those videos from Birmingham last night, absolutely disgusting, but the news aren't reporting about what's happening there. It's happening on both sides.
Do you talking about the counter demonstration or people?
No, the Muslims on the roundabout in Birmingham.
Yeah, I did hear about this. Yeah.
They battered the lad outside the pub. But
I didn't
the
see
media
that.
aren't reporting that.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Mm.
So you think this is just unrest across Britain by all communities, not unrest by predominantly white rioters who are aggravating against people they see as immigrants?
Well, what I'd like to first say is I don't condone the violence. It's disgusting. But the government are not putting these illegal immigrants in places like Westminster or Notting Hill or anywhere posh. They're putting them in the working class areas, and we're the people who have to put up with them.
Okay.
It's not you.
Point.
So you've got a bunch of middle class people telling the people at the bottom that you're wrong and you can't have your say, even though he's telling people who more than likely voted for him that you're far right. So how do you think that's making people feel when the people they voted for, because most working class people do, he's calling them far right?
Okay, Lucy, thank you. So Angelia is in North Yorkshire. Hi, Angelia.
Hi, good morning, panel.
What do you make of that last call?
I have to agree with Lucy, I'm afraid. I think Keir Starmer was decisive and inflammatory speech. I don't condone violence, but I think we have a right to protest in this country with our feelings. My feelings are, as a white Christian, my identity has been eroded in this country. I feel that the Labour Party is pro-Muslim and not for the ordinary white British citizen.
Okay, well, hang on. Let me let Carl respond to that. What do you think of that? Hang on, Galia, wait a sec. Carl.
So, I mean, as a Liberal, fundamentally, I believe, and I understand, the concerns that you have, but as a Liberal, I believe in the following motto, which is, I might disagree with what you say, but I'll defend to my death your right to say it. And I think that is the right approach to take with people who are genuinely protesting. But a lot of these people, I've got to disagree, a lot of these people aren't protesting. A lot of these people, when I walked through Liverpool the other day, like I said, young lads just wanting to cause trouble. There is a conversation that we need to have about immigration. We really do, and we need to get it right. But I'm sorry, the majority of these people don't want to have
Angelia, what do you make of that?
Well, I have to, again, disagree. There were some thugs there, but a lot of those people there were ordinary citizens wanting to protest. Now, let's take the other point here. What about the Muslims that attacked those 3 British police officers? We've not heard anything about that. The army officer who had a 10-inch knife stabbed 10 times, that's been put under the radar. It's all about, the focus is all about the Muslim community. They're always being protected,
let's
the
not be too
working
general
class
here.
citizens.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, you're sort of picking on lots of different incidents here. In the end, people who are Muslim in this country feel very threatened at this time, don't they, Angelia? Because if you look at the map, there's about 15, 20 different places this is starting off.
But then again, look at the white British citizen working class. They feel threatened. All these illegal migrants coming in, do you know what they get? They get help with everything. Our veterans are on the streets. They don't get any help. OK,
Angelia, thank you. You've got loads on this. After the break, we're taking more of your calls. More on what you make of the Prime Minister's response to the riots. Is he doing his best or has he got it wrong? Because Elon Musk has confronted Keir Starmer and say, you know, why are you talking about Muslim communities needing defending? Isn't it all communities? Dave in Lancaster, do you think Keir Starmer's got it right?
No, Jeremy, I don't. Morning, everybody. He's got it completely wrong, and so have all governments before. You cannot leave British people in squalor, mouldy flats, queuing at food banks, then being told by the government that their benefits are going to be taken away if they don't go to work or get a job, and at the same time you house asylum seekers in flats, you give them everything, or in hotels, you give them everything they need. It's wrong. Get your own house in order first, then help whoever you need to help. Yeah, and this is just the tip of a very dangerous iceberg.
You could be very cross about these things as well, but you would not do what we're seeing on screen now, which is someone lighting a wheelie bin and tipping it through the door of a hotel. Come on.
No, hang on a minute. No, I wouldn't. But I lived in South Africa for 39 years. And when the government didn't act and they didn't do what they were supposed to do, then the people said, we were going to do it for you. And this is what's happening. The people are now telling Starmer, you won't do it, so we're going to do it for you.
Well, yeah, the guy's only been in power for 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. Thank you, Dave.
First.
Yeah, fair comment. Thank you. Natalie in Manchester, has Keir Starmer got it wrong?
Well, he's not got it wrong, he's not got it right. These people that are looting and smashing up the place, they're the ones that are not taking no one into consideration. There's many immigrants in this country to do the cleaning jobs, to do the Sodexo jobs, the doctors, the nurses. Send them back home. What is Britain going to have? We don't produce nothing. We don't make nothing. We go to other countries for things, and it's constantly send immigrants home to do the dirtiest jobs in this country. Nobody looks at that, and it's unfair on them.
They're getting entangled in the migrant story, so that you may find somebody has been born here and so on, and then they're suddenly regarded as a migrant who came over on a boat, because that's now the hot issue.
That's the point. Everybody's a migrant. Let's be honest. If you're Irish, you're a migrant in this country, aren't you?
Well, we do have national borders, actually, Natalie. So I think saying we're all migrants probably doesn't help us, does it?
Well, we're all migrants, let's be honest.
Okay.
They constantly want to talk about Asian immigrants getting out. They do the dirtiest jobs in this country, and it's unfair on them.
Point taken, yeah. Totally. Thank you. Sylvia in Durham, hi.
Yeah, hi, Jeremy.
Miserable. You've not had any rioting in Durham, have you?
No. No, of course not, darling.
Too posh. Well, there was some in Weymouth. That's pretty posh.
Yeah, but I actually am pretty disgusted in the way people are behaving. I don't care who they are, where they come from. Everybody has the right to live peacefully. And I definitely think that Sir Keir has gotten it very wrong this time. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He should be getting water cannons back on the streets. He should be getting the army on the streets and getting these people to behave in the manner they're supposed to behave in. Also, there's a way to demonstrate. We can demonstrate peacefully without all this nastiness. It is absolutely vile.
I don't know whether we've got water cannons. I mean, I heard somebody saying we haven't got any.
Yeah, and there's
there's news that our submarines aren't working either. Not that you could deal with a riot using a submarine.
And people have talked about rubber bullets and all these different things, which is a great record, and all of these different things. But in all seriousness, I think in circling back to the point, has Starmer got it wrong? I think he needed to be the very first in this. He needed to be quite Churchillian about it. He needed to say, what is going on? You are exploiting the horrendous tragedy of 3 bereaved families The person who is accused of carrying out these terrible acts was born in this country. So that knuckles the argument about immigration.
Yeah.
This is now, and the families themselves, amidst their grief, have had to find the strength to come out and say, stop it, not in our name.
But you can see, so what happens is these people get triggered by false information
Yes.
that
So-
the killer was a migrant.
Right.
When you try and talk them down, it doesn't work because they were angry to start with. They've been angry for years.
They've been looking for this. So there's an issue with social media, and this is where Elon Musk is relevant, about how social media is used for them to help themselves organise themselves. Yes, there is absolutely a conversation to be had about having a workable system of immigration in this country. You know, he poo-pooed Rwanda. He's not come up with an alternative. He's not recalled Parliament, if we've heard. He's not brought in the army. Essentially, he's not shown strong leadership.
I don't know, it may just be... Do you think that's right? It may just be that his style of presentation is always a bit intellectual.
Yeah, I think he's careful and considered, isn't he? And I mean, I'm a Liberal Democrat in Liverpool, and Liverpool's gone from Lib Dem to Labour. That's who fight each other there. So I'm more than happy to have a go at the Labour Party most of the time. But I actually think, you know, Keir Starmer, as you say, he's been in the job 3 weeks. Give him a chance. He said that he's going to get experts out there. Water cannons, I would say that's, you know, a decent solution. We don't need the army. The police are trained.
You think
to
we
deal
should have the
with
army?
riots.
He was Director of Public Prosecutions. He's experienced riots before. He's had enough time and enough information to be able to mobilise a thought about the lawful process. Yes, you can bring in 90 more prosecutors. Due process still takes time. Or, yes, you can speed it up a bit. But, you know, if they're pleading not guilty, there is a process that still has to be effected.
They can expedite
Well,
it.
he's having court sitting for 24 hours, isn't he? So that's something that's...
It helps.
It's helpful. I mean, besides Keir Starmer putting riot gear on himself and getting out there, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't say he's doing enough. I think give him... Again, I'm happy to have a go at the Labour Party, but give him an opportunity. Okay. He's new in the job. I think his response the other day was better.
Big test.
Let's see how he goes on.
Liz in Glasgow, hi.
How are you?
I'm well, I'm well, but I'm upset to see this rioting. What do you think of it?
I think Keir Starmer has backstabbed all his voters in the back.
Backstabbed all his voters, right.
Yeah, he's backstabbed all his voters. And also, all the Labour MPs should be out in the streets getting it all sorted instead of sitting back and watching it all.
So you think these are working-class Labour voters who already think they've been let down after 3 weeks? Yeah,
definitely. And pensioners.
Yeah, well, OK, that winter fuel thing we're coming on to, Liz. Thank you. Sharon in Staffordshire, do you think Keir Starmer's got it wrong or just isn't commanding the situation?
Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, panel. Yes, he's completely got it wrong, 1,000%. He's got no leadership. He's absolutely useless, and he's not doing anything at all to help this country. Nothing at all. The problem...
I mean, he is, because he's only just started.
The problem is not the immigrants that are already in the country that are working. It's to do with the immigrants that are coming over on the boat. It's been in 3 weeks, and 2,000 have come in already. You know.
Yeah, I know.
What's he doing about that? He stopped the Rwanda plan. All the millions that we spent on that could have made use in this country. That's all wasted. It's gone down the drain. Nothing that he's done so far is right. You know what? Truss turned the economy into chaos, and he's done worse. OK, thank you very much, Sharon. Thanks for all the calls on this.